For this video, I'm going to take a look at the President's Hall of Fame located in Clermont, Florida. Well, before I get started with this video, I think it's time for a disclaimer. I'm apolitical. I'm absolutely repulsed by all politicians. I universally hate them all, regardless of what ideology they belong to. You know, I get it. A lot of people have lied to me over the years in person. That's fine. But it really bothers me that I have to pay so much in property taxes and payroll taxes and everything else to employ these pathological liars. So yeah, while I was filming this particular tourist attraction, I pretty much threw up in my mouth for the entire experience. So yeah, that's quite an interesting way to start out this particular travel vlog. So right now I'm in Clermont, Florida. And you know, this attraction has several names. You know, if you go to TripAdvisor or the website, it says the President's Hall of Fame, but on the building itself, it says the House of Presidents. So it's kind of all over the map when it comes to what it's actually called, regardless of what its actual name is. It's located directly next to the Citrus Tower, which is another local area attraction. This particular museum isn't very large. It's configured in about 4 different rooms, and I'd have to estimate the place is about the size of your average house, probably about, I'm going to say about 3,000 square feet. They've got your typical, political memorabilia. There's a lot of wax figures of famous politicians from, back in the day. I think the highlight for me at this particular museum are all the models and dioramas. Like, they have this pretty cool diorama of like the White House being originally constructed, as well as a really elaborate, larger White House model in the main room. Admission prices run about $15 for adults and $8 for students. What's kind of funny about this place is when you buy an admission, they actually give you an annual pass for the entire year. So that $15, you can come back and visit as much as you want for that next year. I don't know how appealing that is to some people because, like I said, I don't have any skin in the game. I don't care about politics, so this type of attraction is a one and done. I filmed it for the channel and will probably never go back to revisit it. I know there are some families that are made up of like all political junkies. They go to like the national conventions and they're lifelong Republicans or dedicated Democrats, and they're really into the whole political scene. This place probably appeals to that type of person. They have a lot of pieces from, older political campaigns, and people will probably get nostalgic for Richard Nixon or John F. Kennedy or Harry Truman, those type of things. And I guess that's how this place stays open, to be honest. I think people want that blast from the past. I also suppose that if you have a college student in the family that's studying political science, that this place would be almost like a field trip for them to basically, learn the history of the country. Maybe I'm just a little jaded, but I'm usually left very disappointed when I read up on the history of the country by all the bad decisions that were made. So would I recommend the President's Hall of Fame? No. In the same way that I wouldn't recommend a church. I just feel like politics and religion are way off topic for a travel channel, and I'm just not going there. I filmed every possible thing I could. You are seeing the entire facility in this video. So for this particular episode, I would say just watch the video and see if you think it's worth paying $15 to see this in person. I will say this about this place. The employee that showed me around and guided me through the history museum was very knowledgeable and so very pleasant. For me, I just have zero interest in the subject matter, so I was bored filming this. I also know that had I been brought here as a kid, I would have been bored out of my mind and probably would want to wrap it up and leave within about a half hour. As a kid, I would have begged them to take me next door to the Citrus Tower instead. And the Citrus Tower and the President's Hall of Fame are roughly the same price. So I would have done everything possible as a kid, begged and pleaded, done whatever it took just to take me next door, because that I'd actually have some interest in. I just think that's something you should consider before coming to an attraction like this. If you're planning to bring your family here, realize your kids probably don't want to be here, and it's going to be a hard sell to try to convince them otherwise. This attraction reminds me a lot of the Hall of Presidents at Walt Disney World. And it's the same kind of thing. I hated going to that attraction too, but it was right next door to Pirates of the Caribbean and the Haunted Mansion and Thunder Mountain, and I would tolerate that particular attraction all day just to get on those 3 other rides that were next door. So there was a give and take with my parents and I negotiating, okay, I'll go to the Hall of Presidents if you take me on Thunder Mountain. Unfortunately, there's nothing fun here to negotiate with your kids on. But who knows what will happen in the future? Maybe they'll build a mine train ride that wraps around the Citrus Tower. I got my fingers crossed for that one. Well, that pretty much sums up all my thoughts on the President's Hall of Fame.